of the point, Hex, you have to attack into so much damage. It can be rather frustrating to deal with, although if Arns manages to get high ground first, his Prophet's going to be having a little bit of a tougher time. You can see those enlarged portraits there, meaning how close you are to the skybox, of course. Striker is going to be on the Sombra as well, Hex. What's the best target here, really? I mean, ideally you want to get Marvel right, but even if you catch Gesture off with a hack, there's not much he can really do. He's going to have to rely on Toby and Creative to keep him alive.
Yeah, both of these tanks really do suffer when they end up getting hacked, and so that is going to be the big target for Striker trying to get in there. Ons, of course, is going to be on the Pharah duty. He's going to be getting damage boosted, but it's all about just trying to get the angle, because you know where that Pharah is going to be. The Pharah is going to be over the water. First blood drawn by San Francisco.
But already is traded back. Super ends up going down. Still has to deal with Prophet, however. Look how close he's to a barrage already. He's already got it online. Are the Shock actually going to expect this? I'm not sure they are. Violet instantly killed off. Luckily enough, though, Arns is there to pay it in kind, taking out Prophet. However, the Shock still controlling the payload. And with Prophet just non-existent here, it's pretty easy now for the Shock to get onto this point. Super gets slept, he gets naded, hooked in. Jester finds the kill, but still the Dynasty, they may have this nice forward position, like high ground here with Fitz, but they still need to actually cap the point.
Yeah, they absolutely have to. Creative, the reason he's in this roster is because his Ana is so mechanically clean. You're going to see darts all night. A couple of more kills come in for the Seoul Dynasty. San Francisco very likely just going to try to stall this one out. San Francisco will fight you 4v6. They have no problem with it.
No, they do not. Whoops, dead. There you go, Striker ends up going down just to find the last couple of kills. There's the flip, 31% for the Shock. However, I'm looking at the ults. Striker 10% away from that EMP. They got Mines, they have Valk, Transcendence as well. So Dynasty, I think your ideal situation here is really just making sure you save that Bob. An early kill onto Prophet, who switched over to the Tracer, but he does get instantly rest.
Yeah, you really can't try to run the Pharah into Ons. Like, he's just going to punish you eventually. You'll even get hacked by Striker on occasion as well. Mines go down to the point.
Another perfect kill onto Prophet. He ends up going down. However, Bob does take care of Ons. Still sitting on the EMPR, the Shock. However, two people, SMURF and Super, went purple. Easy cleanup for Gesture. Just walks straight through the Shock. And the Dynasty continue to hold.
I mean, so much of this composition is just built around the Roadhog. Of course, we're on the patch where Roadhog is still very, very good. So if you can isolate a Roadhog, you'll see getting hooks in, you'll see getting hacks in, and then it takes 4 people to take them down because they will invest those nano boosts just to keep them alive, just to give the healing burst.
EMP still sitting there for Striker. Rather aggressive play here by Marvel. EMP is going to come out. Hits 2. Prophet on Marvel in a little bit of danger. Instant kill onto Fitz and Prophet as well. Super, yeah, he's going to go down to Gesture's whole hog, but it is a worthwhile trade. Especially getting that ult out as well can be disastrous for someone like SMURF or, of course, any of the DPS or the healers that get caught by it. The Shock end up winning the team fight and end up finding the cap.
It is an interesting tank combination to be running the ball and chain combination with the Hammond and the Roadhog, because it sometimes can operate a lot like an Orisa and Roadhog used to, because the stuns will lock you up and set up those giant hooks.
Marvel just having a little 1v1. Not quite a 1v1 now, as the hack did land on him, and goodbye. I mean, that's really just all you want to do. Just annoy Marvel enough to make him try and take these 1v1s or engagements that are way far away from his team, where Sombra can get an easy hack on you. A lot of free ult charge was generated too. Beautiful hook by Super, but he hooked a nano hog, and now Gesture can just roll on in. However, Super receives a nano of his own. Fitz with a double dynamite kill, however, and Super just can't get anything done. Gesture managed to evade him that entire time and kill off Violet. The Seoul Dynasty are going to find the cap once again, and now the Shock are on the back foot.
SMURF is caught out there a little late, so that's going to be a stagger kill. We're going to be at 75% and counting up. Fitz tosses in the Bob. That's such a great point control ultimate, and this dynamite is enormous.
Insta-killing Arns and Moth. There's not too much like bursting. Of course, you're relying on the nade, really, from the Ana to help you through that, but clearly obviously wasn't available. Prophet with a pulse bomb. Seoul Dynasty on one-fight territories. Shock have to be able to get back to the point first. Super gets launched up in the air. Those mines not doing too much damage to him. He's able to take a breather and ends Mars' life. Arns at least finding another kill as well and holding onto the Bob. The Shock are in a very good position right now. So many ults online as they find the cap once again. Now the Dynasty are in one-fight situation.
It's actually really perfect for San Francisco. I was going to think that they were going to have to stay alive long enough in that fight just to get Striker up to his EMP, one of the most important, impactful ultimates in the game. They didn't have to invest it. They're able to win it without it, and now San Francisco is sitting on some great stall-out ultimates and also a winning ultimate in EMP.
There's Prophet. Dashes in, gets the touch. Now the rest of the Dynasty, they come in from the low ground. Super in a little bit of trouble, ends up getting slept, but however, Gesture's already gone down. SMURF booped him off the edge. Prophet comes back with at least one kill. Striker sent out the EMP, but I believe that was actually just cancelled straight up. Arns finds a kill onto Prophet, but will it be enough? The Seoul Dynasty are on the point with Toby popping the Valkyrie, keeping everybody alive. OT is here, however, the Seoul Dynasty are pressuring this point out and managed to find the reflip. Marvel takes a little bit of a rest, and Super receives the nano. A perfect hook onto Fitz, and now it's all up to the Dynasty to try and stop all this damage coming through from Super, but it's not going to be enough. Striker comes back on the Tracer, kills off Toby. A nice hook onto Marvel. He's long gone, and now the Shock are on cleanup duty. The Seoul Dynasty may have found the flip, but they haven't got many lives left remaining. Creative gives the nano to Prophet, but it's not going to be enough. The Shock find the kill. You're not really going to get much done. You have to come through very small archways or very conveniently lowered ceilings, I guess. You can just hop over them, of course, but Arnt's going to have such a nice sightline. It's all up to the Dynasty here to make the first move and try and get that high ground and take it away from the Shock. It looks like they've done just that. Another bit of annoyance for Prophet as well, of course, is the Discord Orb from Violet Hex. It can do so much extra damage. Even people like SMURF can aid in killing Prophet that way.
Well, absolutely. I think if you're going to be going against a Fair and Mercy, you have to put two people against it. You can't just have your hit scan do it. You need help with the Zen.
Do they know? Do they know Prophet's here? They definitely do now. Arnt's taking a little bit too much damage. Prophet the same. And Fitz ends up just headshotting Striker. An insta-kill on the Tracer as the point does unlock. Gesture going rather low. Nade on him. Does mean he's not going to receive any healing from his breather or the rest of his healers. However, luckily enough, Toby was there in the nick of time to get the resurrection off. And the Seoul Dynasty, once again, they find this cap.
What makes Prophet the best bar in the world, in my opinion, is not necessarily his aim, his accuracy, his splash, or anything like that. It is his movement. The best bars in the world are bars that are hard to predict where they're going and are never going to touch the ground, using all the tech available to Pharah.
Speaking of ult batteries, SMURF was definitely one then at that point. Unfortunately, giving a lot of free ult charge away as he was trying to escape. Shock put themselves on the point, but look at Prophet's positioning, by the way. Like, he's just playing on these rooftops. He has barrage available, doesn't really need to use it instantly. It's more of a death sentence more often than not. Gesture ends up going down first as the Shock put themselves on the point. Who's going to be there to contest? Well, it's not going to be much anymore. There's the barrage straight on top of the transcending Zenyatta. Violet just shrugs it all off, and his teammates do as well. So much healing was invested there, and a fair few ults as well from the Dynasty, as the Shock end up capping the point. And they've got a lot to spare too. They've got Bob, they have Valkyrie, as well as those mines, whole hog. They've basically got everything but the Transcendence here.
The very first kill onto Gesture is enormous, because Gesture does play the Roadhog in a very main tank kind of way. He is taking up space, he's making sure that his team has all the position that they need. You don't necessarily think of Roadhog like that, you think of him as a pick tank. Speaking of that, Super gets picked.
Super went down to 1 HP, and then he was anti-naded, and Gesture with the nano boost kills 2. Pulse bomb, yeah, went a little bit wide. That hook definitely didn't, though. That's Gesture's 3rd kill of the fight. Moth at least resurrected Super, but it's not going to really matter. Violet's also dead, and now you're just free ult charge for Prophet. Goodbye, Moth, and goodbye to the point. The Shock are going to get cleared on off, and the Seoul are going to be able to get the recap.
Yeah, it is one of those maps that you can really stall out a lot. A lot of Oasis maps are just like that. This is going to be Gesture boosted. That means Super's dead, and here just comes the cleanup. Those long-range right clicks. In my opinion, it's one of the best feelings in the world to hit a perfect right click on Roadhog at the perfect range. Gets the hook to round it out. A nice 3K from Gesture. We know that Seoul is probably just going to run Gesture on Roadhog all set.
Oh, Creative got turned into jam. There's not much left of him, unfortunately. SMURF gets away with murder, almost. That whole hog doing a whole bunch of work. However, beautiful sleep dart onto Gesture. He is antied as well. Someone's going to have to follow this up with damage. Striker finally finishes him off. And Super takes a breather. Beautiful hook too to cancel the resurrection. And he kills Toby as well. Regardless of that stick from Prophet, at least he managed to find the kill. But the Seoul Dynasty, their main game plan right now with Hex is just to stall at this point. Yep. I mean, Arns has gotten the kill onto Fitz, and they're trying to kind of corral them to 1 point or 1 corner of this point even, but they can't really do it. Look at the ball's still stalling. That was an extra, what, 10, 15% at this point? Maybe a little bit more as well. 95%. On to Seoul Dynasty, might as well be 99 as Shock end up finding the flip. However, Seoul, they can just stack ults here. That's really all they need to do. Nice little boot from SMURF there, rather cheeky. However, yeah, no one's going to die from it.
Well, I mean, you speak about stacking ults, but San Francisco has already stacked their ults. They have everything that they could possibly want here. So if they can win a fight without having to use everything, maybe one or two, maybe a Nano Hog, a Nano Whole Hog can win you a fight and pull this one off, then they're going to be in a great spot again. Remember, Seoul was in the lead on the last round, but then San Francisco was able to win 2 fights by superior economy.
Oh my word, both Traces blowing the recall. Yeah, Striker wants to back off, make sure he doesn't die instantly. Mines are going to come out. There's the bomb as well. Oh my word, Super just went into a different galaxy. There's the Whole Hog, Gesture in a little bit of trouble. However, he does get Nano, so he's able to survive the spray for the time being. And Shock have drawn this out long enough as well to force Seoul Dynasty to win this fight, or they're just going to lose this first map. SMURF ends up going down, but Striker's rather healthy in the sidelines, doing so much work. He's got the Pulse Bomb as well. Nothing is stopping him at this point. Fitz throws out the bomb onto point, but everybody just avoids it. Creative finds kill onto Super, but Answer's going to clean this all up. Shock are planting themselves on the point, making a name for themselves as Gesture jumping over to the Winston to try and get back in time, but no one is dealing with Striker. No one can. Seoul Dynasty go down.